Good evening. Welcome to the Riverhead Central School District Board of Education meeting for April 19th. Can I get a motion to come out of executive session? Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Can I get a second? Thank you, Mr. Palmer. All in favor? Thank you. Motion passes. Could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Face. Word. Mark.
I would also like to ask if everybody would remain standing. So I'd like to have a moment of silence for those lost from the tragedy at the Covenant School in Nashville, and also for Riverhead High School student Preston Gamble. Thank you very much. You ready? Now I'd like to open up the floor for the high school representative.
Good evening. So, since the events that took place on the 31st of March, when the high school went into a hold in place due to the investigation with police in the building, many students have been concerned and worried about their safety throughout the school. So, I have spoken with Mr. O'Hara and Dr. Tornatori today about these safety concerns being expressed by the student body, and we were able to propose some solutions to ensure that every student at the high school can feel safe while in the building. We are now exploring avenues in which we can improve and expand upon existing security measures, particularly with the protocols in place involving being required to present ID while entering the back of the school building. Furthermore, the next Riverhead High School PAC, Parent Administration Connection meeting, will be on May 3rd at 11:30 a.m. and an additional one at 6 p.m. I suggest that this PAC meeting should serve as a forum with administration and our Director of Security, and where all members of our school community can ask questions and express their concerns in a constructive manner. And now on to some announcements. So, the Riverhead High School National Honor Society recognized World Down Syndrome Day on March 21st. All students and staff were invited to wear crazy socks, and paper socks were sold and displayed in the cafeteria to raise money for the Unified Sports Program. 5 students from Riverhead Key Club attended Key Club International's Leadership Training Conference upstate in Albany from March 31st to April 2nd. Throughout the weekend, our student leaders were able to collaborate with Key Clubbers from across the state and attend several workshops and meetings to develop their leadership qualities. We would like to thank the Transportation Department and those involved who helped organize and approve the use of a Riverhead bus to attend this successful and informative conference. Sheriff Tulloon visited Riverhead High School to speak with a group of students from our North Star Academy on April 17th. He will return on May 16th and June 12th to speak with focus groups from the junior, sophomore, and freshman classes. The roundtable discussions centered around substance abuse, vaping, bullying, gang activity, school violence, human trafficking, and more issues. Riverhead High School, in partnership with Peconic Bay Medical Center, will be hosting our first healthcare career fair on Wednesday, April 26, 2023, from 11 to 2 p.m. in the gymnasium. Representatives from PBMC will be highlighting clinical and non-clinical careers available at PBMC. Students will be able to engage with their staff and learn more about careers that may interest them. All students who participate will be entered into a raffle to win AirPods and other prizes. Students in the Global 10 classes were invited to participate in a virtual tour that provided a unique learning experience about the Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration camp using historical footage, Holocaust survivor testimonies, and other pictures and modern animation combined with virtual reality tools to teach about the horrors that happened in the world's most infamous concentration camp. The spring session of the driver's education course began on April 17th. To date, the program has seen the enrollment of more than 150 students and a 100% certification rate for all students enrolled in the fall and winter sessions. And the junior prom will be held on Friday, April 21st to 6 to 9 p.m. at Majestic Gardens in Rocky Point. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would now like to open the floor for public comments on agenda items and agenda items only.
Hi, my name's Kimberly Wilder, and I just had a short comment because I just viewed the things now. And I just wanted to say that agenda item D, approval to abolish position, they're abolishing a K-12 English as a second language position. And I don't know the details of that particular happening, but I wanted to say that I'm proud of the ESOL program here, and that it's very important too to have bilingual programs where students can study content areas in their own language. So I hope that some money maybe that gets taken from an ESOL thing and a reorganization might also be added to a bilingual, and I'm not sure if that's happening, but I would like to see that happen. Thank you.
Ms. Wilder, I certainly understand your concern with the abolishment of the position. It's really that we're restructuring as we are looking to be able to hire somebody who will be able to meet more needs of our students. So we do have an anticipated posting, and we are hopeful that we will be able to continue to offer more for our students with this new position. So that's why we're abolishing this position, and we are looking to hire for the new position, which would include more responsibilities and where the person would be able to provide more leadership and support for our teachers and students.
Dr. Tornatore, could you give the full title of that new position we're creating so that people understand that the ENL community is still going to be served with that position, and that it actually incorporates more for their needs?
Absolutely. So, Dr. Kerner?
Yes, the formal title is Director of SEL, ENL, Special Programming, and Community Outreach. So we're very excited and looking forward to expanding our programs.
Thank you very much. Now we're going to move on to item E, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Tornatore.
Thank you, Mr. Connolly. So the first item is the budget presentation for Dr. Assay.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight I'll be presenting the fourth 2023-2024. This time is not projected, it's actually the proposed budget. The Board of Education adopted the 2023-2024 budget goals. This was the framework that we used to build the budget. We ensure that we have revenues in place and a tax levy that's within the legal tax cap limit. We also look at our programs, resources, also stakeholders, various needs, And I'm glad to say that this budget does maintain, also enhance the resources, the programs that we have. We also understand the reality, the fiscal reality of the economy, locally and so nationally. So we're very conscious about any significant increase or burden on the taxpayers. I mean, on an ongoing basis, not just doing this budget development, we all are always looking for ways to improve and be more efficient in our operation in various areas. I want to take a little bit of time on this slide so the community can understand what is in this budget. There is a tax levy increase of 1%, but what that actually means to most households. What that means is based on all the data, based on actual tax rate and estimated assessment data we have from all the towns the school district is located in. Some people depend on your exemption and various other things on the tax bill, but we can project most people might see an increase of by 12 cents to $1.15. That's what that means to you, to most tax payers. Also, this program also enhance, also fund program and services, which include our evening school and also a small stipend for adult education. Also, we have invested more money and also more resources in security to protect lives and property, and we're also in a new world. We have to also put protection and perimeters in place to provide cybersecurity. So we have invested a little more money in our computer network system. We'll also invest significantly more money in resources in special education and instructional support, and also the needs of English language learners. We also have some new programs in place, which I'll provide more detail in a few minutes. For general education, we also restructure our technology infrastructure. We have more newer technology and devices in the hands of students and teachers. We also recognize that we have to do some capital and replace some equipment in this budget, so we have fund for those needs. We have also fund and replacement for athletic equipment, fine art and music programs. As required by law, we have to pay charter school tuition. We also provide nursing services and special education services as needed and required by the Riverhead Charter School. And yes, we'll also have to account for increase in inflation for the cost of goods and services. And currently, when we started this budget, inflation was at 8.5, slightly decreased to 8% at this current time. New courses for next school year. We are looking at offering another science course in agriculture science, mathematics courses, computer programming, English courses, social studies, and of course, fine programming, fine arts and music. The evening program is to help our students get to the finish line and also recognize the need that they have outside of the classroom. So if you look at these courses, all core courses are required, and also some services from nursing, guidance, social service, security, and supplies. Community education, this is a self-sustaining operation and program. What that means is any revenue it generate, it pays for its own operation. So we would not increase any taxes as a result of this program. We'll offer various classes, but we're going to start it off with health and wellness, computer classes, financial literacy, and other courses that the community may have interest in. Now, this is the 2023-2024 proposed expenditure budget summary. We account for all the general support, instruction, transportation, community services, employee benefits, debt, and fund transfers. And if transfer, all that means is that the general fund will support another fund. For example, any capital improvement or capital replacement, and also some courses that done the special aid fund, such as special education related courses that we have to pay for as required by law. So we are projecting of a budget of $191,999,210. This is the proposed use of reserve and fund balance. We're looking at utilizing our unemployment, retirement, reserves, workers' comp, and also our repair reserve. When you account for both reserve and the appropriate fund balance, we are looking at $14,466,579. This is our proposed revenue. Before I go too deep in this slide, I just want to disclose to the Board of Education and the community, at the current time, school district, we don't have our final state aid figures yet, because the state budget is late this year. So we had to use the best numbers that we currently have from the governor's office and the Department of Education of state aid. When we account for property taxes, state aid, and other revenue, local revenue that we generate, you will see that our revenue total $191,999,210. The UPK is a federal fund. It's not part of the general fund, but it is reported in the state aid report. $1,815,150. Now, this slide present the historical tax levy the district have in the past. When you look at the tax levy, at least within the last 3 years, prior to school year 2023-2024, the district actually have not increased the tax levy because we recognize any increases or might not be prudent at certain time, but we also made some adjustment in operation to reduce actually the tax levy, and we are projecting, because of inflation and various other required expenses, and also not having our final state aid figures, so we are making a slight increase of 1% the tax levy, which is an amount of $103,789,722. This slide provides a more historical perspective of the tax cap and the actual tax levy. So you will notice that the school years, we go back over to 11 years, your max allowable tax levy, your max allowable tax percentage changes, your actual tax levy from the last 2 years, and also the difference of the actual tax levy increase compared from year to year, you're over and under. So at this current time, we are proposing for school year 2023, 2024, tax levy of, again, $103,789,722. We give you an increase of 1%. On May 16th, we'll be having our required annual budget vote and also school board election. Any questions?
And I would also like to add that my goal in presenting the budget to the board was at a 0%, and that is something that I was hoping that we could do. I do want to apologize to the Board of Education and to the community regarding that, because after looking at the astronomical increase in healthcare costs that we're facing and the fact that we still have not received the money from LIPA yet, that's another variable that is truly concerning, because that's near $6 million that we have not received at this point. So that is why at this point we are looking at recommending to the board the 1% increase.
I also want to thank the team to go back. Originally, the last month's presentation showed a higher amount for our expenditures. I think it was like 192.8. So they went back line by line to bring that down without hopefully affecting what's in the classroom, so that with the 1% that we can at least meet all the needs of the students.
Thank you.
Our next presentation is regarding the new high school evening school program, which we have set up so that we are working with students who have not graduated in the attempt and hope that we are able to work with those students so that they could come back for graduation. So I would like to invite up Mr. Gassar, Ms. Parlato, and Mr. La Rochester.
Can't take me anywhere. All right, so I'm sorry for destroying the remote, but I did want to come up and just say good evening, President Connolly, members of our Board of Education, Superintendent Dr. Tornatore, and members of our district office cabinet. Over the past 3 school years, specialized learning communities have been created at Riverhead High School in order to meet the needs of all of our students. In alignment with our district's comprehensive improvement plan, the Thrive in 5, the purpose of our evening program is to reduce our dropout rate by reaching students who have indicated a desire to earn their high school diploma but have not been able to achieve this goal within our traditional school model for a variety of reasons. This evening, the administrators of our evening program, Assistant Principals John La Rochester and Kelly Ann Parlato, along with our Director of Guidance, Charles Gassar, will provide you with an overview of our program. We would like to thank our Board of Education, Dr. Tornatore, and our district office cabinet for understanding the need for such a program and for supporting this initiative. And now I'd like to introduce Mr. La Rochester.
Thank you, Mr. O'Hara. Good evening, everybody. It's a special moment, I guess, for me. This is month 10 here as a Blue Wave, and it's been an exciting year to get to work with the colleagues that I get to work with every day and take on the unique challenges and work with a diverse population with diverse needs to continue to provide the best opportunity that we can. And, since I arrived here, one of the things that Mr. O'Hara has always discussed is how to tackle the challenge of students that we may lose along their journey that get so close to the finish line. And there were conversations and ideas and brainstorming sessions, and finally there was an opportunity for us to come together and develop a proof of concept and try to develop a framework and a target audience to try to address these very unique needs. And ultimately what we came up with, myself, Ms. Parlato, and Mr. Gassar, was a plan for a specialized program that provided a non-traditional and alternative pathway for students to meet those New York State requirements for graduation. And ultimately what came as, I guess, proof of concept was a college-styled program that is framed around a 3-night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, multi-sessions embedded within that, dynamic in its structure, that allows students the opportunity to tackle the curricular challenges they need to catch up, to get back on pace. And once this framework started to take shape, and we reviewed what other districts did, we reviewed some things that had existed here previously, we needed to find that target group of students. And ultimately what we discovered was that there was a tier of students that primarily revolved around a couple of criteria. Number one, they were students inside the 2019 and the 2020 cohorts that were about 15 credits or so, which meant that they were only a couple of classes. I mean, the light at the end of the tunnel was really there. And it spoke to us because a lot of these students might not be with us because of COVID, because of the need to work, to support a family, situations that are non-traditional. And this opportunity allows students to come in and bridge that gap in 5 or 6 credits. Now, the beauty of this coming out of COVID, and I'll say it was a silver lining, was the exemptions on a lot of the Regents examinations. So we found that there was a population of students that met the curricular requirements in terms of the credits they had achieved, along with the number of exemptions and Regents exams that were necessary, the minimum of 5 needed to graduate. And we began to, think about how to best market and get that message out to the community to bring these students in. Riverhead Local did a pretty cool featurette that helped us in that regard. We did, door knocking campaigns, sent directed letters home, and then the school community got involved. Counselors reached out to, students that they had former relationships with. Administrators got in touch, and a little bit of a buzz developed. And we brought in a population of students, and at the same time, we brought in that first tier of students. We discovered, and this is really the hope for the future, is that a program like this does also provide an opportunity for students that might not be so close to passing in a single semester, but it allows students that have these unique life experiences to bridge a gap in a consolidated alternative pathway. And I think that's something that there's a population of students in the Riverhead community that we really can address. So to talk a little bit more about the structure of the program, I'd like to introduce Mr. Chuck Gassar.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you for your support with this program. I am very excited about it. We started the program on March 1st, formally started it with our students. So now that is 8 weeks ago. So we're exactly at the midpoint right now. And I stand here tonight with a lot of positivity. I see the promise and the future of the program. When we started out, it was Mr. LaRochester, Ms. Parlato, and myself, and we were given the green light, the charge, probably at the end of December, that this would be something we'd be looking to do. And we gave ourselves about 5-6 weeks to get ramped up and running. And as Mr. LaRochester said, we started looking through our students that are deemed non-completers. And it was really striking as we went through it, because due to the fact that we're looking at 17 and older students with 15 or more credits, I was really struck by how close so many of these students were, especially due to New York State embracing the special appeals, the COVID-19 exemptions, different waivers. We had students that had all of their Regents exams in line, that were literally 3 to 4 classes away from graduating, but due to events in their life and different challenges, they weren't able to work it in within the regular school day. So we got together and we said, okay, we're working with a tight time frame here, and we want to make this program as user-friendly and digestible for our students as possible. So we started out by looking at our students, figuring out the courses that we were going to offer, and the model in how we were going to, the different platform that we were going to unpack that to the students. So we started out by having a registration night. We had a nice turnout, and we got, and it was really great about it was we sat in room 133, and Mr. LaRochester said to me, while Ms. Parlato was speaking, he said, what I'm noticing most is there's not one student that has a phone out. There's not one parent that's not giving us their full 100% attention. Everybody sees the opportunity here, and they seem to be taking it very seriously. And I can honestly say 10 weeks later, because that was 2 weeks before we started, I still see that each day. So we have started out with a complete program support staff. In addition to our faculty, we have a bilingual guidance counselor, we have a school social worker, we have a school nurse who is available for medical issues, we have building security, we have E&L teacher, we have special education teacher, and we have teachers across different academic disciplines. We are fully represented, and it's really become quite a family as we meet Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Going over some of our offerings, we handle, as I said, all of the main subject areas. We have students working on health, phys ed. For students that need electives, we have that. This is not just what I would call core courses towards graduation. We have 2 students that are in line to get their advanced designation diplomas. Students that are taking their 3rd year of math, Algebra 2, have all their Regents in line. Students that were in incredibly rigorous programs, but due to different challenges in their life, were not able to fit into the regular school day. And seeing their development and their growth and their buy-in has been absolutely fantastic. As I said, we run each evening, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and there's an administrator on each night. Our first session starts at 5 o'clock. It goes till 5:50. Each night, we have a family meal where we bring in food from the cafeteria. We bring in sandwiches, snacks, fruit, drinks that Mr. Graham puts together for us each night. Our bilingual security guard, Pablo, goes down each night, each afternoon, takes them, brings them back, and we use room 133. All the students leave after their first session at 5:50. They move a few feet down the hall, and they sit together. Dinner is probably 15 minutes, maybe 18 minutes at the most, but it's a nice break. And seeing the relationships amongst the teachers, because the teachers sit with the students and bring their own food as the students are eating. So it really becomes a nice to talk about what did you do today, how was work today, what's happening at home today. So there's really nice social connections being built there as well. And the friendships among the kids we're noticing is happening as well too. So as I said, we go from 4 to 8, 3 nights. And we are midway through it, and we currently have 19 students participating in the program. The program is set up in our eSchool school management system, so as far as grade reporting, as far as attendance, all of that is set up as far as, all the different courses, so everything will be properly reported through Mr. Amato, and we're off to a great start. So now I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Parlato. Take it to the next step.
Good evening, everyone. Oh, he took a little bit of my speech there. Thanks, Chuck. So I just wanted to share, I'm just going to turn to the next slide. Make sure I can do that. Okay. So the actual instruction that takes place in the classroom involves a little bit of direct instruction as well as some guided practice, and then actual support as students are navigating through the Odyssey-ware coursework. In addition, we've embedded a school social worker and a school counselor, so they're part of the program. They pull students out, they speak with students if students need to speak with someone regarding an issue outside of school. We're able to provide them the resources that they need. It's a very intimate setting since there's only 19 students in the program, so it really does lend itself to this family feel. One of the things I'd like to share is that we currently have 6 students in line to actually graduate this June, and the remaining students, they may graduate in August or in 2024. And again, just as Mr. Gassar said, with an advanced Regents diploma. So this is a big accomplishment. I think it's really important. The students want to be here. They're here, they work hard every day, there's smiles on their faces. As I watch and I observe, they're dedicated, they do not miss, which is exciting to see. Again, no cell phones being used, they're actually working, and super proud of their accomplishments. And so I just really want to thank you for supporting the program, for giving these students an opportunity to be successful and earn their Riverhead High School diploma and be proud of that. And so when they reach that next level, you know, whatever their journey may be, we've given them that opportunity to do that. And I'm super proud of them. I'm super proud of the people that we work with and super grateful for supporting our students. So thank you. Any questions?
You mentioned the ones that are aiming for August. How does that work? Will they be doing summer school, or is it just something that they're going to be working on their Odyssey-ware? How's that going to work out for them?
So some will have summer school. Some will have, will take Odyssey-ware courses. It depends on each student because each situation is very different.
Okay, otherwise, thank you. It's a fantastic program, and I'm glad that you painted that picture of you guys are like a family and coming together for your meals and everything. Thanks.
Thank you.
I just want to say one more thing. As far as, and Ms. Parlato mentioned that we do have a guidance counselor. The guidance counselor is there each night and pulling the students out, going into a separate room. And basically, because because we do have hybrid learning, as she said, we have actual lessons going on with teachers. We also have students working on the virtual platform. So you've got a mix of both, depending upon what the student needs. And the guidance counselor is literally meeting with the students on a weekly basis, if not every other night, talking to them exactly, so they know exactly what they need to know. They understand, they see the light at the end of the tunnel. We really quantify and break down, calibrate exactly, this is where you are, this is what you need to do, this is how close you are. We have 6 students that are in line to graduate. We see no reason why they won't. They have 100% attendance. They're doing fantastic. There's another 6 that might graduate this June, but it depends on them, and it all depends on their Regents exam performance, because they do have a few Regents exams they need to pass. And then the remaining ones are going to be students that we're looking towards January or possibly August, and that would include enrollment in summer school this year in July, August, and then possibly taking classes again at the high school next year.
Thank you all for your hard work and dedication to the students of Riverhead. It's truly appreciated.
Thank you.
So just a few other things that I did want to share out. At Pulaski, the Junior Art Honor Society visited the Parish Art Museum in Watermill to view their annual student exhibition. It's a 65-year-old tradition at the parish, and it features works of more than 1,000 young artists from schools on Eastern Long Island. Our students were able to view their own artwork that was on display in the show, and they were particularly drawn to and inspired by the artwork of Riverhead High School students who had their artwork in the show as well. So this was a wonderful opportunity for our students. At Pulaski, they are participating in the Wellness on Wheels from Cohen's Children's Medical Center as they serve as nutrition education program. And basically with the program, these students are rotated in 3 stations. One is Grow, where students are taught how to grow their own food, how to plant their own green bean seeds that they could take home. Station 2 is Be a Fit Kid, where they engage in physical activity as well. And Station 3 is Mindfulness on mental health and positive thinking. So those are just some really good things that are going on there. At Aquabog, the Easter Bunny visited Aquabog, bringing joy and jelly beans and engaging students in a mathematical guessing contest. The students celebrated the Teammates of the Week for March, and students in 1st and 2nd grade participated in the Junior Achievement JA in a Day program. Junior Achievement brings in outside community members to teach young students the foundations of financial literacy and economics in an age-appropriate and fun way. Students from Family and Consumer Science classes at Riverhead Middle School visited the kindergarten classes to read The Rainbow Fish and deliver hand-sewn rainbow fish to the students. And there was a mindfulness breakfast in which all participants participated and received a certificate, and they were able to share their positive experiences and plan for future of mindfulness within the school community. And I did just want to share some security information as well. Since I arrived at the district, I've worked very closely with the cabinet and with Mr. Colhane so that we have been able to have more cameras in the district. We also work very closely with Riverhead Police, Suffolk Police, and Southampton Police on an ongoing basis. I do want to thank the Riverhead Police for having a presence in the high school. Additionally, I want to thank the board for supporting my recommendation to hire more guards this year. We also were able to put fencing up around most of the perimeter of the high school grounds. Upon my recommendation, if the board does vote for the fencing this evening, it will absolutely complete all of the fencing around the perimeter of the high school as well. I've had conversations with Sheriff Toulon and his office as they have come in to provide presentations for our students. And I've also spoken to Marilyn Banks Winter, and she and her organization are planning to come in to offer gang and gun violence prevention to our students at the high school and middle school. Certainly, in speaking with Connor today, he did discuss with me that there are students who do have anxiety and are concerned about being at the high school. And I do want to share that we are doing everything that we possibly can to look at every situation so that we are able to tighten up security and so that we are able to protect our students in the high school and in the district. And we certainly are going to have continuing, ongoing conversations about that. So I did just want to share with the board and with the community the measures in which we are working to have additional security. It is certainly disheartening when we do have students go onto Route 58 and things have happened there. We have worked with Wendy's and we will continue to work with any of the other businesses in working with the police department, being able to obtain camera footage so that anybody who is harassing our students or trying to harm our students, that those people are brought to justice. And certainly with the loss of our student, it's been very challenging, I know, for a lot of the students at the high school. So I do want to thank Connor and really all the students who I've met with throughout the year, because each month I do meet with different students from the high school, middle school, and Pulaski, asking them what their concerns are, asking them what we could do to try to assist and help and make things better. So we have been putting these measures in place, and we will continue to do everything that we can to really protect our students and our staff in the district.
Thank you, Dr. Tornatore. Moving on to consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve consent agenda? Thank you, Ms. Healy. Can I get a second? Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to new business. Item A, approval of BOCES administration budget. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Mr. Dorr. Can I get a second? Thank you, Ms. Healy. Questions, comments, concerns? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to item B, election of Eastern Suffolk BOCES board members. I have to read them out. Read them off, yes. I have the 5. Okay. So that upon a recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education approves the following resolution. Whereas our 5 seats expiring on June 30th, 2023 on the Board of Cooperative Educational Services to be filled at the annual election to be held on April 19, 2023. Whereas there are 6 candidates running, and this board has decided to support the following 5 candidates. Imran Latif, Susan Lippman, Ann Mackesy, William Miller, and Catherine Romano. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Mr. Willis. Can I get a second? Thank you, Ms. Healy. Questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Item C, adoption of 2023-2024 proposed budget and property tax report card. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Can I get a second? Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Questions, comments, or concerns? I actually have one comment that I'd like to read. Bear with me. So at the start of our work in developing a proposed budget for the 2023-2024 school year, this board and Dr. Tornatori were hoping to be able to develop a budget that would have a 0% tax levy increase. We started out working at a $197 million budget for next year. When we advised Dr. Tornatori and his district administration to look at the budget line by line and find its deductions and cuts that would be made without impacting the quality of the educational program, that would bring the expenditures down to where we could present a 0% tax levy increase. After some hard decisions, the current budget we will be discussing this evening has been reduced to under $192 million. However, looking at those sources of revenue we can count on, primarily state aid and the tax levy, a 0% tax levy increase would not provide us with sufficient revenue to support the proposed budget. We would still have to make more cuts, and those cuts would start negatively impacting the educational program and support services we could offer. We felt that was not a responsible path to take. What we have also been looking at in developing the 2020 budget is an inflation rate of 8+%, and that has had a major impact on our anticipated transportation costs, health insurance premiums, retirement contributions the district is mandated to make. Additionally, we felt we could not propose a budget that relied on LIPA pilot payments. While we know, at least we feel confident that we will eventually receive these payments, we simply do not know when that will happen. This situation has been ongoing now for more than 2 years and we still do not have a clear resolution to this matter. Our legal counsel has been doing everything possible to get those payments without going into litigation, which would mean spending money to get money rightfully due us. But at this point, when we will see that money is still unknown. To plan a budget that is relying on almost $3+ million in revenue that we might not see throughout the school year would be fiscally irresponsible. Given all this, we have had to make the difficult decision to propose a 1% tax levy increase. This is still far below our allowable tax levy cap, and we will be among the lowest proposed on Long Island. In doing this, we feel we are protecting the educational program in the district, mitigating the tax impact, and ensuring the financial stability of the district for future years. Thank you. All in favor? Well, motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to item D, approval to abolish position. Can I get a motion? Motion. Thank you, Mr. Dorr. Can I get a second? Thank you, Ms. Healy. Questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor? Motion carries. Moving on to item E, approval of request for extension of probationary period. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Ms. Palmer. Thank you, Mr. Wallace, for the second. Questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor? Motion carries. Item F, authorize a contract with Kids Educational Services et al. For services for children with special needs. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Can I get a second? Second. Thank you, Mr. Dorr. Questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Item G, authorize the board president to sign a contract with Dynasty Elevator Company. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Ms. Healy. Second, thank you, Mr. Wallace. Questions, comments, or concerns? Thank you. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Item H, authorize the board president to sign a contract modification with Eastern Suffolk BOCES. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Can I get a second? Thank you, Ms. Healy. Questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor? Motion carries. Item I, authorize the board, I'm seeing a pattern here. I don't know if you guys see that. Authorize the board president to sign health and welfare services contracts. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Can I get a second? Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Another one. Item J, authorize the board president to sign a professional service agreement with Tender Age PT Incorporated for OT, PT, and speech for children with special education needs. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Can I get a second? Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. Item K, authorize the purchase of metal fencing for the high school using the Eastern Suffolk BOCES bid for metal fencing. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Can I get a second? Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Questions, comments, concerns?
I've seen some pictures recently of the fencing that is back there, and a lot of the gaps are where our fencing ends and somebody else's fencing begins. Will we be able to fence right up to their fencing or even connect to their fencing to stop those gaps? What's our legal, I guess, to attach to their fencing? Do we have permission from them or whatever we need to make sure those gaps are closed?
So with this additional piece of fencing, it would go from where the fence that the board approved previously to go all the way across to the back area where the residents have their properties. So we were planning on putting it up to the district boundary line, and then that way nobody would be able to enter or exit from that whole back area of the district, so it would be fully enclosed. The issue that we were having was when the other fencing went in, we had some students that were going onto residents' properties and also working to damage the fencing of the residents' properties. So by putting this in, we will fully enclose the whole back area, and we will not be able to have anybody enter or exit that back area.
What about the business area behind Big Lots and there? Are we adding additional fencing in there?
So on the whole side of the high school, there has been the fencing that was put in last year. And so this is now going to connect from where that point ended, and it's going to go all the way to the back, the entire back part of the high school property line, so that we'll be able to have it fully fenced in. Because there has been a concern regarding when students do leave campus to go into Route 58, cutting through that area, where we've encountered some concerns for our students. So this way they will not be able to enter or leave at all through the back area, and also would prevent anybody from outside the school grounds to get onto the high school property in that area.
And by doing this, it's going to, because I think it's safer for the students, and I know it's going to take a little longer, but you are safer staying on Osborne and then Route 58. Because, personally, I've had my own child run into an experience, and that's by doing, not to the school, but trying to cut through another area. And it's really, if you can tell your children, please stick to the main roads. That's their safest bet when they want to get to their fast food or anywhere else. Do not cut through, stick to the main route.
Absolutely, I 100% agree with that. And it is so important that our students do stay on Osborne to go to Route 58 and not attempt any other ways to get to Route 58.
Anyone else? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Item L, approval of contract with Scope for the 2023 Summer Enrichment Program. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Second. Thank you, Ms. Healy. Questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Item M, approval of third and final reading of revised board policies. Policies 4000, student learning standards and instructional guidelines. Policy 4100, organization of instruction. Policy 4511, textbook selection and adoption. Policy 4772, graduation ceremonies. Policy 4850, dissection of animals in the schools. Policy 6830, expense reimbursement. Policy 6830-R, expense reimbursement regulation. Policy 9645, disclosure of wrongful conduct. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Ms. Palmer. Can I get a second? Thank you, Ms. Healy. Questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Item N, approval of disposal of surplus equipment. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Mr. Dorr. Can I get a second? Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Item O, acceptance of donation. We have a donation from A-Boss Paints for $160. Thank you. Can I get a motion? Thank you, Mr. Worth. Thank you, Mr. Wallace, for the second. Questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Now we're going to move on to opportunity for board members. Do we have any committee reports?
Health and Safety Committee meeting, we met April 12th, 4 o'clock at the middle school. Myself, we had representatives from the Laura Curie. I'll name people because they took the time to come down. Assistant Principal at Roanoke, Peter Brown, the guard, Vincent Cagno from Southampton Town Police, Glenn Curry, guard at Phillips, Frank Dower, Riverhead Fire Department, Arlene Tokowski, Director of Personnel, Brian Azelius from Broderick and Associates, Emmanuel Hernandez, Assistant Principal at the middle school, Joe Jasinski, Chief Custodian at Pulaski, and he's also Flanders Fire District Chief, Sonia Johnson, the guard at Roanoke, John LaRochester, the Assistant Principal at the high school, Ed McGuire from Broderick Associates, Garrett Moore, teacher at the high school, Kristen Anini from ES BOCES, Edie Reisenberg from nurse at Pulaski, Jennifer Simoes, a teacher at Aquabog, and Lieutenant Danielle Wellesley from Riverhead Police Department. Due to an emergency, Dr. Tornatori, the superintendent, and Mr. Colhane, the director of school security and safety, as well as Mr. Leslie Moore, co-director of transportation, were not able to attend the meeting. Facilities Department, Kristen Anini from ES BOCES stated that the district is in full AED compliance. They are working with the medical provider to ensure that they are in alignment with the requirements as well. Ed McGuire from JC Broderick presented the results of an indoor air quality screening that was conducted for the high school. An inspection was conducted to identify any conditions which may adversely affect the quality of indoor air. Samplings were taken to determine moisture levels, the presence of total airborne mold spores, and other airborne particulars. Relative humidity, temperature, dew point, temperature, and carbon monoxide levels were assessed. The results of this Phase 1 indoor air quality screening did not reveal evidence of any significant indoor air quality conditions in the areas that were tested. The sampling and screening performed did not reveal the presence of any contaminants at hazardous concentrations. Mr. McGuire explained there may be occasions when moisture in the air increases, which can be handled by the district custodial staff. Staff members should report concerns to the building custodial staff, who will manage it at the building level and when necessary refer it to the Director of Facilities. Mr. Moore discussed staff concerns in regards to the heat index. Classroom doors are closed for safety reasons. There are many classrooms that do not have air conditioning, and with the doors closed, there is no cross ventilation when the windows are open. There is a request if teachers can bring in fans. Fire and electrical overloads are issues to be considered. Mr. Galena is working on a solution, as this concern was brought to him by the superintendent. Additional items or concerns. Ms. Healy, myself, brought up the concern shelter-in-place incident at the high school. There was confusion regarding the terminology. Many students texted their parents, which led to many parents coming to the various buildings to pick up their children. It was suggested that there be a safety drill for shelter-in-place and signage explaining the different emergency responses for staff. It was also suggested that a robocall go out to parents as soon as possible. And it was also shared that, I guess there's an acronym, SHELL, and it stands for the different levels. So I think that terminology, I think we knew lockout, and the other ones we weren't familiar with shelter in place. And then that meeting was adjourned at 5:05 p.m.
All right, I'll go. For Facilities Committee, we met on 4/11. Present was Dr. Tornatore, Dr. Asay, Terry Calhoun, Brian Connolly, myself, Rick Wilderson from H2M, Justin Bonet from Energia, Mike and Pandar from Johnson Controls. So in 2009, we went to school, applied for an energy performance contract, and they gave us a pretty detailed report, but basically the gist of it, over the past 9 years, they do show a savings, which was pretty good. We were happy to see that. Another thing, we talked about some projects that needed to be done that we've actually discussed last year and just going into this year. There's work to be done at the high school, middle school, Phillips, Roanoke, Aquabog, Riley, and Pulaski. Courtyards, bathrooms need to be updated to ADA, gyms, lockers, storage rooms in Pulaski that will be converted to either like office space or classroom for the special, the teachers that come in and work instructional staff support. Also parking lot repairs and playground upgrades just to make them safer. There was a brief discussion on security project update. We're just waiting on some more information to be able to provide that, but we definitely are still looking to, as Dr. Tornatore said, to add more cameras and have a more updated system. We are planning on applying for federal and state energy performance projects. H2M, the architects, have been doing some walk through the different buildings just to see what projects are going to need to be done. And then we have Energia, who is the energy performance contract. We're looking to redo another one, perhaps change all the lights that, they were changed 9 years ago to better fluorescence, I think from T12s to T8s. But now they have these LED lights out, which can save us incredible amounts of money. And we're also looking into some solar projects, perhaps. Once we have some more information with that, we'll be able to share that with the public. That's about it. Thank you.
And finally, a report from the Audit Committee meeting from March 23rd. Present were myself, Dr. Tornatore, Dr. Asay, Ms. Healy, Mr. Dorr, Ms. Cheryl Pedicic, Sherry Diamond, the claims auditor from Serini and Associates, and Jamie Odell, the director of shared services for Franklin Essex Hamilton BOCES. The audit committee discussed many things, including the claims auditing process to review invoices and selected payroll transactions with the claims auditor. Then we discussed and reviewed the 2022 to 23 treasurer report and extra classroom report for January 2023. The committee then discussed the status of the bell schedule and routing design based off of the transportation consultants' meetings with administrators and union leaders. Then was a discussion of status of the extra classroom activity manual, training, and online payment. Our 2021-2022 federal single audit, and having the board approve it for submittal to the New York State Education Department and other relevant authorities. We then discussed the impact of BOCES services on the district, summer school staffing, our special aid and grants. Finally, for 2023 to 2024, special education and pupil personnel services with staffing projections, discussing the status of the department and general projections for that school year. And that was it for that meeting.
Move on to board comments.
So I just want to thank Terry Calhoun, Let, Dr. Galati, Sean O'Hara, and all the administrators that were here to arrange the pickup of the students after that tragedy we had last week. It was, I was here to pick up my son from lacrosse, and just to see the operation they were able to put into place so quick, it was absolutely incredible and so reassuring to see. So thank you to everybody involved in that.
I'd like to congratulate Mr. Dorr for receiving the school board, what they call the School Board Service Award. It's awarded by the Nassau-Suffolk School Board Association, and it encompasses every school district, basically on Long Island. And what is for a board member that's retiring, I know we're called retiring, but you've done 10 years of service. I would say it's a pretty good achievement. You're going up against some stiff competition, and I would like to say, awesome, and congratulations. So.
Thank you.
Anyone else on board comments? Opportunity for RCFA.
Gregory Wallace, Riverhead Central Faculty Association, also a Riverhead resident, Calverton. The association would just like to take the opportunity to extend our deepest sympathies to the family of Preston Gamble. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Opportunity for Al? Lisa? So, Ron, I guess it's their time. Moving on. Opportunity for public comment.
Hi, Monique Parsons, Bating Hollow. Imagine you're a parent going about your day as per usual, and you receive a text from your 14-year-old daughter that says, "Mommy, we are in a real lockdown, and I'm scared." Followed up with a phone call where she tells you that she loves you, and in case she doesn't make it home, to tell everybody that she loves them too. That was a reality for a lot of parents on March 31st. The reason why the school was locked down was because the student they were looking for was marked present in class, but when security went to retrieve him, he wasn't there. Security could not locate him, as he was said to be hiding out because he knew administration knew he was the student that brought bullets to school. Once located, he was said to have a dozen bullets on his person. The timeline of events that happened at the high school that day are unacceptable and pose a serious safety risk for our children and staff. The school was put into a lockdown, not a hold in place, since that terminology does not exist in an active shooter training. But the school is attempting to minimize the seriousness of the situation by labeling it as such. Only after the second bullet was found, more than an hour after the first bullet was found, did Terry Culhane, Mr. O'Hara, and others decide to have a meeting in Mr. Culhane's office to discuss what they should do, instead of immediately contacting police. After that phone call, I went to the school to pick up my child. Upon arrival, the parking lot was full, and there were about 10 parents waiting outside the lobby doors. More arrived after I did. The school then transitioned to a lockout, allowing kids to move about freely. Students were pouring out of the front and side doors, and frantic parents were entering those same doors as students walked out. Even though there was one guard posted at the front door, a parent got by him. As many parents walked in through the side doors, when I was let in, I arrived at the attendance office where I asked why guards weren't monitoring the side doors so other people could walk in. She responded, "That's always a situation, and I have it on video for any of you that would like to see it." If the woman in attendance knows that there's a potential security issue, then that means that everyone in the school knows there is a security issue. None of our schools have SROs. I had a one-on-one meeting with Chief Hegermiller. He informed me that the school refused to split the cost of an SRO, and that's why there isn't one there. Minimally, there should be an SRO at the high school, one at the middle school, and one floater to go to all of the elementary schools. This district has not had an active shooter training since 2014. Other local school districts conduct up to 4 trainings per year. As per the New York State website, security personnel recertification does not include active shooter training. There is no clear protocol for Riverhead. In my meeting with Chief Hegermiller, he stated that he was unaware of what protocol was in place for Riverhead School District. How could this be? As far as I'm concerned, if physical safety does not exist, our kids cannot learn. I don't really care how it gets done, but physical safety should be paramount. Our district should have armed security guards, and the school and town need to work together to get officers in the school now. This is something that cannot and should not wait. If the school cannot, for some reason, come to an understanding with our local department, I have also had contact with Suffolk County Undersheriff, whom is happy to speak about SRO presence through them. But that is only if our local department refuses, which they have not, so please work together to make this happen. Thank you.
Gregory Wallace, Riverhead resident. I want to parlay on the SRO. The association is in favor of returning an SRO to the school district, but it is our understanding that every school district in Suffolk County that has an SRO, that SRO is paid for by the police departments that provide it. So Southampton has 7. That cost is borne by those police departments. Suffolk County has SROs. That cost is borne by the police department. Riverhead Police and Riverhead Town charging the school district to have a police presence is an anomaly, and it's not a practice anywhere else in Suffolk County. So I think it's incumbent upon the town to prioritize school safety by funding the SRO and not placing that burden on the school district like every other police department in Suffolk County does. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Janet Douglas. I'm a resident of Flanders. My daughter will be returning back to Riverhead School next year. We pulled out because of COVID, because of the disastrous plan at that time, and we feel that going back into Pulaski Street now is the best move for my family. It's very disappointing to hear the incidents that have occurred recently, and it's very fearful for parents. The tragedies that have happened at schools across the country are not new, and we're very lucky that we have not had an incident here yet. And I say that yet. We can't now wait to start planning. These plans should have been put in place a long time ago. This is not the first time these are occurring, and it's disappointing to see whether it's the school district, whether it's the police department or the county, I don't care who it is, we need to figure it out, and we need to get a place and plan. We shouldn't be sitting here, whether it's an active drill, whether it's a real incident, and trying to figure out what's the correct terminology, who's supposed to be going where. These are things that should be drilled in every student, every faculty member, and every staff, and should have been years ago. And the fact that we're sitting here tonight, and this is a topic that's put off to the public portion, and it's not on the agenda, and it's not a priority, is disappointing for parents like myself who entrust you with the safety of our kids. Please, figure it out. Thank you.
Hi, Allison Matway, Wading River. I didn't intend on speaking tonight, but I had sent an email to the board and to Dr. Tornatori for the Everytown, their research and their plan that they have enacted alongside of the American Federation of Teachers and the National Educational Association. They've done more than 10 years worth of research into gun violence and mass shootings and school violence particularly, and have a pretty good, what I would say, a pretty good plan in place in terms of suggestions to support kids. And I feel like the one thing a couple of things stood out to me, but one of the things that stood out to me was the trauma-informed plans that we have in place, because our kids are terrified of the lockdown drills. Being someone who works in special education and has for 25 years, I've been subjected to lockdown drills in multiple districts across Long Island, and they're terrifying, to be honest, as an adult, and the children are terrified. So I think taking that kind of stuff into consideration is very important, and every town, you know, they've been through it. So I would go by what they say based on their research and based on what their recommendations are. And then the other thing that I was thinking, one of the suggestions that they have is something called Safe Passage, and it's probably more for neighborhoods who have, you know, different kinds of violence in them so that kids can safely get to and from school. And I was thinking, like, is there a way, you know, because of the incidents that have been happening as kids leave to go out to lunch or leave at the end of the day, could we have security guards posted, you know, along the exits or, you know, along Route 58, maybe not Route 58, but Osborne, to help kids feel safe and comfortable leaving school to go get lunch and not feel like that maybe there's going to be an incident. So I just think that we need to, you know, I hope you all get a chance to read the article from Everytown, because it's very thorough and it's data-driven, which is super important, because I think the knee-jerk, let's throw some armed guards because the data shows the more guns leads to more deaths, because you end up with shootout style situations. Who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? Who has the guns? Who's traumatized? And, you know, metal detectors make us feel safer, but they don't really make us safer necessarily. So I think that reading those suggestions would be really important, and hopefully we can figure out a plan going forward. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
Good evening, Kim Pokorny, Calverton. I'm here this evening to address you all as a concerned parent whose child's safety has been compromised again for yet the second time this year. Although I'm speaking strictly as a parent, I'm also a highly ranking official at a local emergency services department here in town. Last Wednesday, I was notified immediately of the tragic situation going on in real time at the Calverton Hills complex, where our own Preston Gamble senselessly lost his life. Noting the time was in line with when my 5-year-old daughter's bus would be arriving in that area, I checked her tracker, the tracker that I had to put on her after the last unresolved incident in the beginning of the year that I spoke with you about. I found that she was indeed heading toward the ongoing situation. I frantically dialed the bus garage again and again and again until I finally got an answer on the other end. I calmly identified myself and my rank and explained my firsthand knowledge of the situation and that my daughter's bus was heading into danger full of children. The person on the other end initially told me that all of the heads of transportation were in the field and she didn't know what to do because they were unavailable. Then she said, "Oh, yeah, we were told about it and the bus is being rerouted." She didn't sound confident in her words, and I asked her if she was sure. She stated, "Oh yeah, we'll take care of it." I asked if I should go to the school and pick up my daughter or go to the bus garage. She stated, "No, she's just going to be late," and hung up on me. My daughter showed up at my house, which happens to be 2 minutes away from where the situation occurred, 10 minutes later, which is 20 minutes earlier ahead of her usual time. Her bus driver knew nothing of the event that was going on and was just as appalled as I was. I informed her of the event going on in Calverton Hills as it was her next drop-off, and she told me the only reason she was rerouted was because there was a road closure causing her early arrival. Had the road not been closed, my 5-year-old daughter and the other children on the bus would have been in the middle of a shootout. I received a robocall 2 hours after the event to pick my child up at the school due to an incident. This is wildly unacceptable. When will security and safety of our children be a priority and communication be effective in this district? On another safety note, I was personally involved in planning the last multi-agency active shooter drill in Riverhead, which was conducted on November 15th, 2014, nearly 10 years ago. An incident that occurred on March 31st was a clear indicator that yes, this could happen right here in Riverhead. I, as a parent and as a local emergency responder, am asking that another drill be executed. Preparedness is key in the safety of our children. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Santa Jackson Hagley, and I live in Calverton Hills. And besides everything going on here, it's crazy. I was home and had to close my door because I was in the middle of cleaning my fish tank when the shooting went on. And I saw all these kids fighting, and thank God my daughter just got off the high school bus. I've only been living here, October made 1 year, and I'm just disappointed. My daughter was in Deer Park School District her whole life and just started high school here. And this high school has very good programs and is very good high school, very good district, but the safety concerns, I'm very disappointed as a parent. I have 2 little kids in Head Start right here in Riverhead, and they've been on lockdown. No parents can't come in, and they're 3 and 5 years old. I think the security needs to change here. I grew up in Far Rockaway. We had metal detectors in school. We never had guns brought to the school, knives brought to the school, anything, because we had metal detectors we went through in junior high school, and I started high school there, and I went to Brentwood, and Brentwood was very strict, and I thought Brentwood was a bad school district. But the safety here, I'm very disappointed, and I hope it changes because I have 2 other little ones that has to come up here. Thank you.
Would anybody else like to come up?
Good evening to everyone. I'm a resident of Flanders, and I'm also a parent of a 9-year-old. And I just want to talk about this issue that, my kid came to the house one day and it's like, tell me like, Dad, it's like, why in the United States we did this? And it was like, what? They did a drill that someone wanted to kill us. Like literally, he came to me, like, if someone wanted to kill me, like, why did they do this? Why is people trying to kill kids? And, last time I spoke here, I came from what many people might call third world country. And, we might be poor, we might be whatever you want, but it's just this country. This is the only country that does that. There's no other country that kills people. Like, I think it's more of a, I agree with the lady that guns doesn't do more, Just think about the idea, like, how it became okay to bring guns. Just the idea to bring guns into a school. When, as a society, this society that I thought it was, the best country in the world, it's not. It's like, what the hell, right? We're supposed to talk about here about education, how to educate our kids. And, the people have passion is how to, about talk security. I think has to be another conversation. It's like, I know that, some of the ladies, they want, they are bringing guns, let's bring our guns too, and see who has the biggest guns, right? And kill each other and see who kills each other. Because, look, this is a gang mentality. I'm sorry, but this is, like, this way of thinking is a gang mentality. It is. You can say whatever you want, but it is. What's a gang gonna do? You wanna kill me? Okay, I'll show you violence, right? How you gonna, fix violence with more violence? How you gonna fix, that with that mentality, I think it's something wrong going on in this conversation. We should address this on how it's starting, you know? What is bringing the idea that some crazy guy who has a gun, you know, to feel himself good, you know, or I don't know what the idea is of all of these shootings, what makes them come to a school? And we should stop those people, even for, you know, getting a gun in the beginning. You know, I like guns, I like to shoot. I'm not saying, you know, for the people that like guns, I like, you know. But I think the conversation should be another one. I know, like, I'm talking about for my concerns, and I understand the ladies' concerns, but I think it's just the wrong way to address it. I mean, if a kid, you know, if a kid is bringing bullets, you should go like, why? What makes them? Who is he wants to hurt? Why is he, you know, because some of them, because I've spoke to some of them, it's a power trip, right? When you're young, you just want to be tough, right? So, you know, that's just an idea, but I just want to say that we should talk about it in a better way and not just come and say, when I was listening, I'm sorry, but like I say, I come from a third world country and we don't even talk about those ideas. Like, when you say, oh, we want to put more fence, it's like what, you know, we're going to put more fence and then you're going to put, you know, wires on top so kids don't go in, and then what? You're going to start making, you know, classes more closed so, you know, they can feel more secure and lock all the, you know, doors. So you're making a jail. I'm sorry if I'm not, I spoke too much, but thank you, and thanks for your time.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say, you know, as I mentioned before, there's obviously a lot of anxiety and hard feelings going on regarding the safety in this district. And as I mentioned before, there is the Parent Administration Connection meeting on May 3rd at 11:30 a.m. and at 6 p.m. So I really hope that the parents who came here could come to those meetings, because I really think that this is an important topic that administration needs to be more on top of, because it is obvious that this issue is being neglected, and I really hope community members in our district could really come to this meeting and we can all have a conversation together and to really get on top of this and think of solutions, because obviously just standing here and complaining isn't getting anything done, and it's obvious that more needs to be done on all levels in this district. So thank you.
I spoke before. My name's Kimberly Wilder. I want to thank everyone for sharing their important feelings about the things that have been happening in our district. It's a lot for everybody to take in, and I'm sure everybody's not fully processed everything yet. I wanted to add to what the gentleman spoke about being worried about, thinking about the guns and the violence in a different way, and I don't want to discount what anyone said in their feelings, but I wanted to put a note of the district has thought about some long-term solutions, and I think even the high school presentation shows a long-term solution, because you're letting people finish their education and resolve things in a way that will make them have better feelings about the school. So I want to commend the school district on all our guidance counselors and our social workers and the long-term things that we do to include students and respect students, and to make programs that can help people in need.
Would anybody else like to come up? Or Lisa, do we have any?
Yes, I have one comment that was sent in. This is from Jeanette Scarola from Middle Country. What is Riverhead School District doing to ensure the safety of students? This month there was a scare and parents thought there was an active shooter in the building. Bullets were found in the school and parents and students were hysterical, thinking students were in harm's way. The situation was handled poorly and may have lost trust and security. Will the district hire more guards and entertain the idea of arming them like many other districts have already done here in Suffolk County? What will it take for the district to step up security and ensure our students are safe? Parents would like to know what the lockdown drills look like and where extra security is being applied. And that's the end.
Thank you, Lisa. Would anybody else like to come up and speak, or?
Good evening, Michael Gabriel, Bating Hollow. I do know that in many other school districts, they will hire outside security companies. I believe that Riverhead did have that at one time. Usually, a lot of times, when I'm working in another school district on Long Island and having an outside security company, it definitely is a real good resource in situations that do occur in the building, because that person usually is working with multiple other school districts on Long Island, and they can give you input on the way to handle certain things, and also they're really good for upcoming events like homecoming, even graduation, with different types of security methods to put in place. So I don't know if that's something the Board of Education would consider to do in the future, to have an outside security company as a resource to bounce ideas off, and for them to give you ideas and different methods in the district. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Orr. Second. Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Questions, comments, or concerns? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next month.
Please help support the Riverhead Central School District YouTube channel by subscribing. If you are not already subscribed to this channel, please be sure to push that subscribe button and click the bell to receive notifications. Thank you.